Are you an activist and do you seek to fight government corruption? Are you a bystander who complains about corruption but feels powerless to change it? I want to introduce you to an extraordinary man who fights government corruption in California, Richard Fine. Welcome to PA Voter Information Network. This is Larry DeMarco, your host. Do you watch my YouTube channel but haven't subscribed yet? Why not now? It's easy and free. Just click the red button and the bell right beside it, and you will be notified of all new content.
There's a name for people who are jailed merely for criticizing government officials.
Mr. Fine was effectively a political prisoner for a year and a half. That was unconscionable. Shouldn't have happened. Shouldn't have been allowed to happen.
What was the real reason he was thrown into jail?
This wasn't about contempt. This wasn't about getting him to disclose whatever it was he was directed to disclose. It was about getting back at him and wanting to keep him quiet.
This is part one of a 5-part series taken from a lecture given in California. In this episode, Richard Fine will summarize how he returned over $1 billion to California taxpayers before stumbling over a judiciary bribery scandal.
First of all, many of you may or may not know that 90% of the judges in California receive illegal payments from counties. Starting in the mid-1980s, what occurred is, and I believe it started in Los Angeles County, Los Angeles County decided that it was going to pay the judges extra money. And the reason that they gave is they said that we want to attract and retain qualified judges to serve in Los Angeles County. That sounds very nice. There's a problem. Problem is that the judges are state-elected constitutional officials. In other words, they don't work for Los Angeles County. They work for you. They work for the state. And if you look on your ballots, you'll see that you elect the Superior Court judges. So, if LA County gives the judges money to attract them, they can't, because you can't attract someone who has to run for an election. And if they give them money to retain them, they can't do that either, because they have to run for re-election. What does the money come down to? A bribe. What you do is you go to your county board of supervisors, and there are 30 counties that make these payments. Go to your county board of supervisors and you say, stop the payments. Because whose money are they taking? They're taking money out of the general fund. Well, where does that money come from? That comes from your property taxes. So you're not only paying for these judges through your state taxes, they're now taking your property taxes and they're paying for the judges. So you go to the board of supervisors and you say, we want you to stop paying the money. Number one, you cut off the water. Number two, you go to them and you say, we want you to pass an ordinance that says any judge who received money from the county can't sit in the court for this county. Now, if they're an elected state judge, they may be able to sit somewhere else, but they can't sit in the county here. Real simple. Two real simple things. Courts don't get involved. Judges are screwed. One, they don't get the money. Number two, they can't sit in the county because they got the money. And how do you get it accomplished? You put the pressure on the supervisors. And how do you put the pressure on the supervisors? Because of the fact that you elect them. And how do you do that? Because you can get out there and you can campaign against them. You can go in and show how much money they have paid out to these people. And you can go in and say, why do you want to re-elect a supervisor that has paid all this money out? Which was illegal. Who am I? You know, it's like, Ms. Rob. Okay. I'm a 73-year-old kid that was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and got lucky. In 1964, as I was on my way into Naval JAG, I got lucky again. And I got into the London School of Economics. And I was going to go there to do a master's in law with dissertation. 1967, I was awarded a PhD in the subject of law, international law, and my thesis now became international and comparative antitrust law. The United States government job was very, very interesting because I would then be chasing international cartels. And I started out in the foreign commerce section of the antitrust division. At 28 years old, I had the sheer joy of going through and fighting every major Wall Street firm. After 4 years, I left the Justice Department and I was offered a job with a firm out in California. I want you to come in and become the special counsel of the Governmental Efficiency Committee and nail these guys. So I came into the city government and became the special counsel. We knocked off Yorty and some of his friends. And at the same time, I founded the first municipal antitrust division in the country. And I did that for a year. And then after that, in 1974, opened up my own practice. Things went along, and some of the lawsuits that I got involved in was one of them, when you give to United Way, you designate where you want your money to go. That's because of the lawsuit that I brought. Another one that comes down the line is that I had done a couple of cases in the U.S. Supreme Court as amicus briefs on antitrust and things. And my client in those particular cases came to me one day and they said, Richard, the state's taking all of our money. Now, this was the California State Electronics Association. These are the repair people that go in and do all your warranty repair, the independent repair people, little shops that you see for that fix your computers, that fix your appliances, and all these other things. And I said, what do you mean the state's taking all your money? They said, well, we put money into a fund that takes care of consumers. I said, so? He said, well, the fund's gone. I said, what do you mean the fund is gone? They said, the fund is gone. I said, well, how did the fund go? They said, in the budget, the state took all the money out of our fund. I said, really? He said, yeah. So I took a look, and sure enough, they did that. Not only did they do it with their fund, they did it with 49 other funds. So we brought a lawsuit, because that's illegal. Can't do it. And we won. Then we brought about 10 other lawsuits. We won those. And we won so many lawsuits that in the end, I ended up returning and saving for the California taxpayers approximately $1 billion. The legislature, the financial director of the state finally told the legislature, look, you keep doing this, we're going to call Richard, he's going to sue you, and we're going to get the money back. So they stopped doing that. They then passed a law saying that the legislature could borrow the money, but had to pay it back. So that's where that one ended up. So that became, some of the things, those are some of the suits that came down the line. And with the CSEA, I changed the entire way. I sued all the manufacturers of consumer electronics, of appliances and everything, and changed the entire way that servicing is done in California because the Attorney General wasn't enforcing that law.
This has been part 1 of a 5-part series. In the next episode, Richard Fine will discuss how he kicked a beehive when he discovered that 30 of 58 of the counties in California have trial judges who receive illegal bribes, which is about 90% of the judges in the state. Worse than that, He eventually learns that the bribes become protected by the legislature by a law that would grant them retroactive immunity. If you like this episode, forward the link to all the people on your contact list and social media friends. Click the like button and leave a comment below. I would love to get your feedback. Signing off. Tune in next time. Bye for now.